Azure Gleam. Reprisal. Having repelled the forces of the Western Church, the Kingdom and Alliance armies joined together to launch a large-scale coordinated attack on the Empire. Preparing to assault a key Imperial position, the Kingdom Army uses northeastern Gert territory as a bridgehead to press further south. Meanwhile, a reliable ally returns to their side.
It's good to see you safely back, Rodrigue. I understand matters have begun to settle down in the West.
They have. It took more than a few lengthy inquiries, but I believe we finally excised the foul seed of discord from our soil. And the changes at the top of houses Gideon, Mateus, and Elidor should ensure it never takes root again.
So they're keeping their territories, then? I would have expected us to remove them completely after what they did.
Such is easier said than done. Our prior situation with House Kleiman took time as well.
Yes. Replacing the head of a territory always brings dissenters crawling out of the woodwork to oppose it. Be they nobles or commoners.
At least now we won't have to worry about our land descending into chaos behind us. We can't just keep repeating the same mistakes. I must say, though, I'm surprised this all went as smoothly as it did.
I did used to be the eminent Duke Fraldarius, remember? I have just a bit of experience with these things.
In any case, we must turn our gaze eastward. How's the Alliance holding up?
According to Gustav's report, Claude is holding out for the perfect opportunity to advance his army. Naturally, they don't favor their chances in a head-on clash with the famed Count Burgleys. So, for the time being, they intend to feign a deadlock and slowly dwindle away the enemy forces.
It seems the decision to reclaim the monastery was a shrewd one, then. It's our best path forward.
I know we're slated to advance on Hevring territory, but shouldn't we hold off till the Alliance can come help us too?
No. On the contrary. If we can show our individual might warrants attention, the Empire will have no choice but to dispatch more troops west, which should in turn ease the burden on the Alliance and their army. Claude and I agreed to as much.
The real question is whether we can even trust him. It's impossible to tell if you ask me.
If anything, he might be trying to wear us down. Soften us up so he can beat the stuffing out of us later.
I doubt he would do something like that. At least, not in the midst of pursuing the same goal. But you're right. Claude's tricky to pin down. You can never really tell what he's plotting.
I don't believe we can be too cautious here. We should consider every possible angle.
Agreed. But if the Alliance does try anything, Gustav and the Knights of Seros should be more than enough to thwart their plans. For now, though, we march on. Ready your units.
So, we finally take aim at the Empire in earnest.
Yes. We must finish this swiftly, for the sake of all those caught in the middle.
If you don't mind me asking, Your Majesty, do you have it within you to topple the Emperor? I speak not of military prowess, nor the strength of our army. No. I speak of your emotions.
He's got a point. I mean, she's your stepsister. Anyone would hesitate to cut down their own family.
She is an old friend as well, though I doubt she has any recollection of it now. Rodrigue, do you truly think my hand will waver? I, who cleaved my own uncle's head from his shoulders? Now, seeing as the Empire was involved in the tragedy of Duscur, there is still much I must ask of her. In a way, she and I are no different. Starting wars of our own volition, sending countless innocent lives to the feet of the goddess. However noble one's reasoning may be, a deed like that cannot go unpunished. And if she refuses to yield, then as a king, and one seeking revenge at that, I will take her life.
I'm pleased to hear it. Ah, that reminds me. I meant to give you this earlier.
A letter?
One from Lady Patricia. I uncovered it during our inquiry of Viscount Elidor.
From my stepmother.
I hope you'll forgive the intrusion, but I have already examined its contents. The letter contains no new information of note. That said, I expect you'll find the subject matter quite disturbing indeed, Your Majesty.
I see. I will read it later then.
Oh, Dimitri. Have you read that letter from your stepmom yet?
Yes, I have. It was a missive requesting the then Viscount Elidor's cooperation in her conspiracy against my father. She claimed he would have much to gain from the king's elimination, all while shrewdly expressing sympathy with his objections to the reforms. I had it investigated for signs of forgery as a precaution, but such a search returned nothing. The letter is authentic.
Meaning your stepmom was a willing participant in the tragedy of Dusker. She sent so many to die, and would have done the same to her own stepson if all had gone according to plan.
All out of the desire to see her daughter again. Or so Cornelius said. The wretch's words deserve little weight, but I believe she spoke true. In every memory I hold of my stepmother, she was always looking past me, as if the one she truly cared for was somewhere else entirely.
I can't imagine how that must have felt for you. But I'm sure it wasn't easy for your stepmom either, separated from her family like that.
Indeed. I don't forgive her for how she treated me, but I suppose the blame doesn't lie solely with her. Still, being faced with such plain evidence of her crimes is a difficult thing to come to terms with. I had once thought her among those I would avenge. Yet now she lies squarely in the path of my fury.
Pretty heavy stuff, yeah.
I can tell you're troubled as well.
You can see straight through me, huh? Guess that's what 3 years together will do. It's Myson, that dark mage from before. He was familiar with my power somehow. And yeah, I know you said you trust me, but I'm not so sure I even trust myself anymore. I just can't stand not knowing the truth. Who am I really?
No matter what answer awaits, I will continue to place my trust in you. That hasn't changed.
But what if I transform and attack you?
I would do whatever I must to restrain you, naturally. Failing that, forgive me. It helps no one to utter such words.
It's fine. If nothing else, the threat of death is good motivation for me to get this power under control.
Have you lost your mind? It almost sounds like you'd be okay with him killing you.
I don't want to die, of course, but if it was between that and killing a friend, I know which one I'd pick. Ugh. There may not be snow here, but the wind still settles right in your bones.
Yes, it's often coldest in places without snow.
Apologies for dragging you so far north, and then saddling you with reconnaissance duties. Still, how are things looking?
Thought for sure we'd see signs of the enemy by now, but I've got nothing. You really think those Srang folks are coming over these mountains?
Oh, they will come. It's in their nature.
And if I know their leader, this will be a much larger raid than normal.
They tried to raid us during the confusion at the capital too, right? So are Fargus and Srang mortal enemies or something?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but we've definitely got something of a history. Even back when I was a kid, there was open fighting between the two. When Fargus won, the Srang leader offered up his youngest son as a prisoner of war. The same son who's now leading this current raid.
After he was surrendered to Margrave Gautier as a prisoner of war, he was held here for some time. The Margrave lost his wife to the Srang offensive, and I know he harbored many ill feelings towards their people. But he also hoped to improve relations between the two peoples, and thusly treated his prisoner well, teaching him our language and customs. Sadly, the prisoner did not appreciate the effort. He fled Margrave Gautier at his first opportunity and scurried back home.
But if Srang offered him as a hostage, why would they welcome him back?
It's all a bit muddled and unclear. Father dispatched men to find out the truth of the matter, but everyone feigned ignorance.
Still, he now leads the Srang forces, which means they must have at least some respect for the man. Doubtless, they were pleased when he walked in the door with inside knowledge of Fodlan practically oozing from his pores.
You've got one interesting neighbor, I'll give you that. Things are tougher in the north than I thought.
I'm glad you've come to understand our situation, at least in some small part.
Our preparations are complete, Father. Perhaps it's time we gather the generals?
Yes. Once everyone is here, we'll depart for the Ruska Mountains and take shelter at the stronghold in the foothills.
That stronghold again? We're practically retracing the entire northern campaign at this point.
Yes, that is where hostilities began, isn't it? Your Majesty, House Gautier should have been able to handle this situation ourselves. Pray forgive me for dragging you into it.
Not at all. Gautier and Fraldarius have long been allies in the fight against the forces of Srang. It is only right that the leader of House Blathid should come to your aid in a time of such crisis. I'll be counting on you and Sylvain as well.
Don't worry, we'll send these folks packing.
Great. In that case, maybe I'll kick back and let you do all of the... Kidding. Kidding. Of course, I'll give this everything I have. Well, except my life. I'll be keeping that.
I'll do my best as well, Margrave. Though, having ceded the Fraldarius title to my son, I fear I'm not but a common military man now.
False modesty ill suits you, Rodrigue. Now let's all go out there and make our king proud.
Brave soldiers of Vargas, I task you now with this. Defeat the forces of Srang and prove your might anew. I will hold down the stronghold. You focus on dispatching the enemy.
How profound. Still in the same battle where my father once fought.
And repeating the same fight as well. Not sure how I feel about that one.
Alongside the young Margrave and late king once again. It's quite the sensation.
I'm honored you think I stack up to my father. I can't help but feel like I pale in comparison.
I'm ready to go. Enough of that. You are more than worthy of the comparison. And to one day take his place as the Margrave.
And hey, Dimitri's already blazed that path, so he's gotta know what he's talking about.
Stay on the defensive. Perhaps we should take the fight to our enemy instead.
These wild tactics remind me of my father's chess strategies. Wait, I think they might be trying to reach our base. Father's first wife, the one who died in the Srang raids. What was she like?
She was a classmate of ours at the academy, and the star pupil of the Black Eagles.
I understand he earned his Wall of Ice moniker after she was lost.
Indeed. Before that, he was a lively young man, cheerful and friendly to the last.
Did you think I'd go quietly?
I can always trust you to have my back.
Everything is going swimmingly. I doubt even Lambert could find fault with us.
I pray my son isn't causing you or His Majesty too much trouble.
The sting of failure.
This payback has been years in the making, Gautier!
That guy, the one who's as loud as a cannon. That must be who we're looking for. Just living up to the Gautier name, that's all.
You're gonna leave me in the dust if I'm not careful.
I've awaited this moment. To hold back. You won't stop me!
Take a breather.
A resounding success.
Don't hate us for this. Our way of life hangs in the balance. Here it comes. Take it. You're done. Perhaps I thought too highly of my troops. but I can retreat with my pride intact.
Yeah, and don't come back. Or if you do, at least leave your weapons and soldiers behind.
I'll think about it.
They descended upon us like a storm.
I've never seen the people of Srang fight with such ferocity, and their leader was a pure terror. Still, I thought that man more discerning than to simply attempt to batter his way into Fargus.
Sounds like someone lit a fire under them. Probably convinced them this was their chance to take out the kingdom, what with our being occupied with the Empire and all.
But who would this Flamestoker be? Someone from Adrestia, perhaps.
We can't discount Cornelia and her ilk. They're like a bad rash that won't go away.
It will take time to pin down the truth. But even if this is the result of some outside influence on the Srang clans, the fault still lies with me. I never should have educated that man.
Don't blame yourself, Father.
The people of Srang do not speak the language of Fodlan. Had he never learned it...
Yet Sylvain was only able to get through to him as a result of your teachings. And though his words lacked compassion, it was still quite remarkable to hear him speak at all. I was raised to think of the Srang people as demons who emerged unbidden from the snowy tundra. Considering that, exchanging even a few meager sentences with them feels like a miracle.
I agree with His Majesty. We will never achieve peace without understanding each other. And you know we can't end this through sheer force of arms alone, Father.
We already understand our enemy perfectly well. They fight for a port that is not choked with ice, and for land that is warm and fertile. Yet Fargus is hardly a region of abundance, and there is nothing we can spare them. So how exactly do you hope to achieve peace amidst such scarcity?
I don't know, yet. But I'll keep searching for a way, even if it takes my entire life.
You remain as naive as ever, boy.
Matthias, wait! Apologies, Your Majesty. I will go speak with him. You should make ready to head back.
What the Margrave says is reasonable, yet I sense an earnestness in your words as well, Sylvain.
Oh, I'm earnest, all right. I'll drag our people kicking and screaming to peace if that's what I have to do.
Peace with Srang doesn't sound like some hopeless ideal to me. I'm sure you'll find a way to pull it off.
Thanks. That means a lot.
Regardless, we must eliminate this threat if we ever hope to free ourselves from the power of the relics. Still, there's no reason we must do so through military might and bloodshed, if another way will suffice. I appreciate the way you think, Sylvain. I truly do.
And I'm always impressed with how much you hate warfare, considering how good you are at it.
Is your father going to be okay? He didn't exactly take well to your opinion back there.
Trust me, I've been a son for long enough to know that the feelings he keeps private can fill a library. If he really thought I was some kind of naive idiot, he'd have kept it to himself. There's something else weighing on his mind here. I'm certain of it.
There you are, Matthias.
Do you remember the night of the ball, Rodrigue? Back in our days at the Academy? You, me, and Lambert grew weary of the festivities and stole away to train by ourselves.
How could I forget? The stars in that sky were a true sight to behold. We talked about all sorts of things that night. It was the first time we ever discussed our dreams for the future, and the last as well.
Lambert told us how he hoped to forge a peace between Fargus and the people of Srang in Duscar.
Ha! He certainly did. And once he was named king, the man did his best to see it through. Srang may have been a lost cause, but he worked tirelessly to bring Duscar into the fold.
I called him naive that night. His dream sounded like the thing of childhood storybooks and cradle tales. But these days, I wonder if I wasn't the naive one. He always took the long view of things, saw the whole continent unfolding before him. But me? I've lost too many over the years, and their blood clouds my vision. I could never see things now as he once did. Could there really be a pathway to peace?
You haven't changed one bit, Matthias. If you regret what you said to Sylvain, I suggest you find him and apologize before this goes any further.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
I won't fail.
I'm ready.
Let's earn our keep. Stay safe. A life is the only thing we can't replace.
We're with you all the way. Stand tall.
The stronghold's ours.
This will be a struggle.
This place won't be a problem anymore.
We're in bad shape over here.
Oh, too easy.
Still improving.
You never cease to amaze me.
Don't mind if I do. You're done!
Too easy.
Imperial General Ladislava is here to fight.
Right on. Enemy down.
You never cease to amaze me.
Here it comes! You're done!
Nice going, everyone. That's one in the win column.
The fight starts now.
Sorry, but I'm gonna have to sweep you clean off the battlefield. Stay strong! We can win this!
This place won't be a problem anymore. Here it comes! You're done! Don't mind if I do. Still improving.
You never cease to amaze me.
This battle will make a fine stage for my debut.
Here it comes! It's not out of the way! You're done! This is just the beginning.
Nobody can beat us with you on our side. No, really.
Let's carve a swath through the battlefield.
Time to make a name for ourselves.
Let's carve a swath through the battlefield.
I do hope you'll make this fun.
I'll take you all on! Enemy down.
You're a real piece of work.
Right on.
Retreat is a vital strategy.
Out of the way! This place won't be a problem anymore. This is just the beginning.
I always knew you were capable of greatness.
Don't mind if I do.
Let's enjoy this.
Let's earn our keep. Hope this is one of those easy wins.
We will win. I'm sure of it.
Now die!
Can't let it end like this.
I'll take you all on! The stronghold's ours. Enemy down.
Goodness, full of surprises, huh?
My accomplishments won't mean a thing if I'm not still standing when the battle's over.
I have to admit, you're strong. Guess I'll be stealing some of those moves after all.
Here it comes! Out of the way! You're done!
Stand down.
This place won't be a problem anymore.
This doesn't look good. Please, I need help.
Oh, too easy.
Too slow! Give it up! This will be your grave!
Pathetic.
Stand back!
Hope this helps.
I'm glad to go. You're mine! You'll never win! Thank you, my friend.
Let us begin.
Take a
All
breather.
would be lost if I were... to die here. You'll have to take things from here.
You called?
Watch and learn.
Yeah, right! Got you! Sorry, but I gotta fall back.
Here goes! You'll have to take things from here.
I don't know how long I can hold out. Help me, please.
Turn.
Run for your lives! Here it comes! Out of the way! You're done! Yeah? Done. I'll tear them apart!
Let's enjoy this.
Let's earn our keep.
Come at me if you want to get cut down.
Yeah, we can win this.
Begin the operation. Our orders are clear.
I'll do what I can. It's worth a shot.
Hear you loud and clear.
I'm dragging the others down. if I were to die here.
Please find it in your heart to help me.
I might just be able to help.
I'm dragging the others down.
This battle will make a fine stage for my debut.
Too easy.
You never cease to amaze me.
You're done!
Stand back.
I'm glad to
Looks
go.
like that's it for us.
We won't lose, no matter what. Thank you. I'll repay you somehow.
They put up a tough fight. Well, who's next?
Nice work, Ingrid. I should follow your lead.
You'll never win! Thank you, my friend. I think I've proven myself quite well today.
Hey, don't forget to watch your back. You're not listening to me, are you? Guess I'll just have to watch it for you.
Let's be sure to keep hold of it.
Take a breather.
Accomplishments won't mean a thing if I'm not still standing when the battle's over.
I always knew you were capable of greatness.
Each win brings us closer to our goal.
The fight starts now.
I'm pretty good at defending, actually. The other kids always tried to beat me up when I was little, so... This isn't over yet.
This place won't be a problem anymore. On to the next one.
You never cease to amaze me.
Charge!
This will be a struggle. Looks like that's it for us.
The sweet taste of success. This is just the beginning. Here it comes! Take this! You're done!
I have to admit, you're strong. Guess I'll be stealing some of those moves after all.
The stronghold's in danger. Keep the enemy away from it.
This will be a struggle.
Fight like this. I'm bleeding all over the place.
Oh, too easy.
I see no merit in remaining on this battlefield any longer.
I shall grant you the privilege of my aid. Too easy. You're just full of surprises, huh?
Fear not, we shall join you.
Our time has finally come.
Here it comes! You're done!
You shall pay for this, you hear?
You'll have to take things from here.
We've got to...
Defending the stronghold feels a little beneath me.
It's finally over. Defending is never easy.
Let's earn our keep. I'll do what I've got to do. That's it.
We will win. I'm sure of
So this is defeat. I'm sorry.
You know what they say about playing with fire.
I do hope you'll make this fun.
Not good. They've got us on the back foot.
Knowing when to retreat is a vital strategy.
Still improving.
You're a real piece of work.
Stand back!
I'm glad to go.
Watch and learn. Stand down.
Take a breather.
Nice going, everyone. That's one in the win column. That's so.
The fight starts now.
I'd rather push on, but we need to defend this position for now.
The situation is not in our favor. Let us proceed with caution.
Don't mind if I do.
This will be a struggle.
It's not over.
Knowing when to retreat is a vital strategy.
Is that all we've got?
Well, what's next?
The stronghold's ours.
Wounds are severe. I have to fall back.
On to the next one.
Yes, full of surprises, huh?
We need some help, and fast!
This place won't be a problem anymore.
Looks like you got one tough fight on your hands.
Don't mind if I do. We've got...
to retreat is a vital strategy.
Stand back!
I'm glad to go.
Take a breather.
This is all my fault.
Knowing when to retreat is a vital strategy.
I've secured the area.
The stronghold's ours.
Successful mission.
Too easy.
You never cease to amaze me.
Here it comes! You're done!
This is all my fault.
Looks like you got one tough fight on your hands.
This place won't be a problem anymore. I'll take you all on! Don't mind if I do. Out of the way! Here it comes! You're done!
I bet my father would have done even better.
The fight starts now.
I will never falter. Now, onward!
Yeah, we can win this! The stronghold's ours.
Resistance is futile.
Too easy. Here it comes! You're done!
You're just full of surprises, huh?
Stand down.
Keep it up! Out of the way!
All would be lost if I were to die here. That should do it.
Stand back!
How can I face my comrades after this?
I'm sorry. We weren't strong enough.
Are you
was fun for me.
I'm glad to go.
I beg your assistance. At once! You'll never win!
Thank you, my friend.
We'll be in a good position if we can capture this stronghold.
Take a breather. I'll face my comrades after this. I'm sorry. We weren't strong enough.
So this is defeat. I'm sorry.
I'll dirty my hands if I must. I may be more suited to the classroom, but I cannot stand idly by.
Wounds are severe. I have to fall back. This is just the beginning. Watch and learn.
I always knew you were capable of greatness.
They are playing us for fools.
I'm glad to go.
Today, I shall ascertain the source of your power.
Let's enjoy this.
Houses Gert, Esser, Lock-in, and Ox. I can't believe we'll be facing them all at once.
What do you expect? From their standpoint, this is an invasion, and they are the ones to repel it. They fight to protect their homes, their families, their livelihoods, just as we would fight to protect ours. We would all do well not to forget that. Be sure to tell those under your commands the same.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Feeling guilty about this isn't gonna change anything. We still have to fight, and we still have to win.
You're right. This is the only way we'll ever get peace back in Fodlan.
There's no turning back now. Not after what we've done. But I don't regret any of it. I believe in the path we're on, the very one that's led us to the battle ahead.
Lasting peace is waiting for you on the other side of this fight. You've got my power to see you through it.
It doesn't matter what any of us say, Boar. You know what needs to be done. We'll have plenty of time to grieve once this is all over. So stick to the plan and don't look back.
We stand here because we believe in you, Your Majesty.
I see. I'm heartened to know I have your trust. Whenever I've lost my way, all of you have been there to help me recover it.
It's the least we can do. Both as your subjects and your friends.
Everything seems to be in order, Your Majesty. Sorry, am I interrupting something here?
No, we've just finished. We will need your strength in this battle, Rodrigue.
And my strength you'll have. Let's show these Imperial scoundrels what a mistake it is to cross the people of Fargus.
I can do this!
So many noble Imperial houses have assembled on the battlefield. From the looks of it, they're desperate to defend the Empire.
As as are we to fight for our home. First, we must make haste and take the main hall.
Duke Garrett is holed up in the main hall, but capturing strongholds and besieging the enemy should draw him out.
All right, let's aim for the closest stronghold first. Easy does it.
On to the next ones.
Something doesn't seem quite right. Does this feel a little too easy to anyone else?
Wonderful progress. That should put us at ease for the time being.
Here they are, right on schedule. All units, move out and take the Kingdom forces down!
So the enemy general finally shows. We've got to put them on the defensive.
The strongholds belong to us now. Still, it all seems to be going too smoothly.
They're all over us! I can't stay here any longer!
I'll do what I can. It's worth a shot.
Begin the operation. Our orders are clear.
I'll give it 1,000%! Leave everything to me.
We must act now. I'm here to provide backup.
Hear you loud and clear. I'll make short work of this.
Let's begin. It's time to move.
We will proceed as planned.
Don't think you can escape! After her, quick!
Felix, don't break ranks!
Remember our objective. We will not be able to besiege the enemy until we've captured the strongholds. Man the barricades. Do not let a single enemy inside these walls.
Too easy.
Fine work indeed. I can see why His Majesty has placed his trust in you.
There, the path is clear. Wait.
You walked right into my trap. I simply can't waste this golden opportunity.
Hanuman shall have his day. Death from above.
It's an ambush! Everyone fall back! We can take down the enemies at the rear first!
Stand down. Now we tighten the net. We can't let any of our units fall before we have them surrounded.
That's Linhard. Are we gonna have to kill him?
I fear that I'll just get in your way and ruin the wonderful strategy you've all thought up.
No, is that Constance? Please, let me talk to her.
Send in the remaining soldiers!
Too slow reinforcements! We'll have to outlast them somehow.
You've gotten this far? That persistence is honestly exhausting.
I won't ask you to switch sides, but maybe we could stop fighting at least.
You could have said as much before you beat me up. You're all cruel, you know that? But fine.
Victory must be ours. We will raise the city and the Kingdom Army with it.
How dare you threaten our lands, Fargus worms!
More of them? When will it ever end?
They have the numbers. Above all else, we must protect His Majesty.
There is no reason to be wary of a nobody like me. I hardly deserve to be here at all.
Hey, you tried!
Please, let's stop this. I could never bring myself to kill you.
So the goddess wishes me to suffer even further embarrassment.
Matters not. Making final soldiers fall. I am the Viscount, and I must not die here.
They fitted up our ambush. No, we cannot allow them to gain momentum.
The time has come to remount our attack on the main hall.
Austin will see my territory invaded. I cannot suffer that to happen.
Take this! Tough one! Hey, you tried!
The enemy's really serious about this. They're sending in so many soldiers.
I'm glad to go.
I refuse to die in a place like this.
You're mine! Prepare! You'll never win!
Thank you, my friend.
My blade is blunted after all. Forgive me, my dear Monica.
Father, no! You didn't have to!
My mistake led to my father's death. I shall have revenge.
She got the better of us before, but not this time.
Monica! Oh dear! Perhaps it's time we join the battle in earnest.
I won't watch her die. Let's go, Hanneman.
Here it comes! Out of the way! You're done!
I can't die.
I shall make them work for it, if nothing else.
Here. I won't.
The battle isn't over. We must prepare for our next maneuver.
Hanneman, you're looking a little worse for wear. Let me heal you. Can never be too careful.
This is nothing.
If she keeps healing him like that, this battle will never end. Let us deal with Manuela first.
It's so dreadful to see a familiar face across the battlefield. That said, I will not back down.
Here it comes! You're done!
So you're an Imperial General now, Professor Manuela.
You're done!
I must fight against some of my students in order to save others. These are troubling times we live in, indeed.
I never thought the day would come that I'd cross blades with Professor Hanneman.
No regrets!
There's still so much I want to do in life. I have to withdraw.
I may have one foot in the grave, but I insist I keep the other out of it for the time being.
They made a very formidable duo. I wonder if our paths will cross again in the future.
At least I can die in my hometown.
Here it comes! Out of the way! You're done! This is just the beginning.
I've always known you possess this power. The power to protect people. To save them.
There. We've done what we can.
Isn't it time for you to come out already, Duke Gert? The general ought to seek vengeance for his subordinates.
Be careful what you wish for. I've quite a lot of debts to avenge by now.
Duke Gert is essential to our empire. He must be protected at all costs.
I see they're putting up one last bit of futile resistance. Too bad it's not going to work.
You're done!
Gert, you must save Her Majesty.
How ironic. My territory has always strived for peace, and it's the first claimed by the flames of war.
Not gonna die here!
I am not the most skilled fighter. However, fight I must. For me to bear.
Stay calm.
Still here.
This is as far as we go. Forgive our weakness.
Out of the way! You're done!
No, you've done plenty.
You have my gratitude. I cannot perish here. I must protect the Empire.
Our enemies fought well. To be honest, I'm not sure how much more we can endure. We've taken the main hall. Victory is ours, Knights of Fargus!
The enemy fought like they were possessed out there. One wrong move and we'd have been finished.
Imperial nobles will battle to the bitter end to protect their homes, just as we would. I suggest you get used to it. Everyone we face from this point forward will strike at us with the same vigor.
I guess it's kill or be killed, huh? It's exhausting just thinking about the road ahead.
Do not complain. We are only doing this to restore peace to Fodlan, remember?
I can't say I blame you for worrying. This is a difficult campaign in every sense of the word. For one, the unfamiliar terrain greatly favors our enemy. And however noble our cause, the guilt of invading our neighbors will always weigh heavy on our minds.
Be that as it may, we can't turn back now. If the Kingdom and Empire cannot coexist, then there is no other choice but to fight.
He's right. We all know what'll happen to Fargus if we just sit back and let Adrestia do what they want.
So you all grasp the gravity of our actions, yet choose to march on regardless. It seems our rising lords have grown even stronger than I thought. The future of Fargus is a bright one indeed. For now, all we can do is commend our soldiers for delivering us a valiant triumph, and of course, bid they continue the march. When the sun sets on this war, only our king will be fettered by the vile moniker of invader.
Don't put this all on him.
And it will fall on you to support him through it, Felix. You understand, yes? That is your duty as the shield of Fargus, and descendant of the hero Faldarius.
Obviously.
Oh, Rodrigue, you're up late.
Ah, yes. Preparing strategy proposals for tomorrow's War Council. The more legwork I can do in advance, the smoother the process will go. Thus, even one as strong as he would collapse from overwork were all our councils an unchecked slog.
He barely sleeps as it is, right? Sometimes I see him face down on his desk. I guess catching what little shut-eye he can.
Yes, he reminds me of the late king in that sense. Lambert too ascended the throne at a young age. Too young, if you ask me. And struggled greatly to adapt to the many rigors of governance.
Guess you two knew each other a long time then. I'd heard you went to the academy together at least. I've gotta ask, is Dimitri really that much like his dad?
You would hardly be able to tell them apart were they in the same room now. Though Lambert did have a somewhat shorter temper. Still, they're birds of a feather compared to my son and I. The two of us are as different as the blackest night and the brightest day.
I don't know. I think you're pretty similar. Like, you're both the first to take the initiative when something important needs doing.
That's enough to make this old man's cheeks burn. Make sure you share that opinion with Felix as well. I suppose he is quite like me. Though mostly in ways I'd hoped to avoid.
Meaning what?
He can't live without some great purpose in life urging him forward. There is no peace in such an existence. I know, because I'm the same way. As Lambert's right hand, I devoted every waking moment to serving him, supporting him. And when he was lost, so too was my reason for being. I had no choice but to search for something else to propel me forth. In the end, and after much consideration, I chose to devote myself anew to Lambert. To seeing through the promise I had made him.
And what was that?
That should his son ever lose his way, I would be the one to set him back on the proper course. But I won't be here forever. Thankfully, His Majesty is blessed with friends like you. Ones who are willing to ease the immense burden on his shoulders.
Funny. I feel like Dimitri's been helping me this whole time, not the other way around. But it's all a give and take in the end, right? You've done more than your fair share for me, too.
I'm glad to hear that, truly. But to be frank, my own shortcomings have grown alarmingly clear of late. It's not enough to simply stand by his side and support. He needs someone to grab his hand and pull him in the right direction.
And you don't think you can do that? Even with Gustav's help?
At the end of the day, he and I are nothing more than His Majesty's retainers. We cannot view Fodlin through his eyes, but you stand on equal footing with him as a trusted friend. Such a bond is a rare thing indeed.
Dimitri's my leader, yeah, but he's a friend first. Probably helps that I'm not in the nobility.
Is that the root of it, I wonder? If I recall, you were born in Alliance territory, yes?
Yep, in a remote mountain town off in Ordelia land. Honestly, I don't remember much more than that. And with this weird power and all, it's hard to say for sure where I really came from.
Well, if you ask me, those things, your background, your abilities, don't matter much in the end. I can't blame you for being curious, of course, but we haven't put our faith in you because of whose child you are. The relationships you've built in your time here transcend whatever blood may flow in your veins.
Huh, what a wonderful human being. A true man of character.
Anyway, seeing as you're here, I was hoping you might be willing to share some of your wisdom with me. I would love to know a mercenary's thoughts on the proper location to stage an ambush, and where in that position our archers should take up posts.
Now we're talking. Let's see.